What will happen to the creators of this voice if TikTok is banned? With 200 million users, India was TikTok's largest market until 4 years ago. People's lives were being changed by this app. The border issue between China and India grew more intense when it appeared that TikTok's popularity could not be stopped. Following that, the Indian government abruptly outlawed TikTok in June 2020. Indian TikTok videos and accounts remain online today, appearing to be stuck in a bygone era, even though TikTok has grown to become one of the most widely used apps worldwide. This makes it simple to forecast TikTok's and its users' futures in the United States. US President Joe Biden signed a bill on April 24th that may result in a permanent ban on TikTok in the US. The new rule states that ByteDance, the company's owner, has 9 months to sell its interest in TikTok or risk having the app permanently blocked in the US. But ByteDance has declared it will fight the law in court and that it will not be selling its shares. There is no prior instance in US IT history of a social media app this size being prohibited. Still, we hear from India that when a government outright forbids such an app, TikTok has been outlawed in more countries than only India. TikTok was also outlawed in Nepal in November 2023, while Pakistan has repeatedly partially outlawed the app. Although the 150 million TikTok users in America are in an uncertain situation, the story of the ban in India demonstrates how rapidly users move on. However, it's also important to remember that when these apps are banned, the culture that sprang up around them dies with them. In India, TikTok had more than 200 million subscribers prior to the ban. Mumbai-based Suchartha Tyagi is a film reviewer. TikTok had 11,000 users and millions of views on many of its videos before the Indian government banned the platform in June 2020. According to Tyagi, TikTok was hugely popular at the time. Through this app, individuals from all across the nation were getting together, skating, dancing, and sharing about their everyday lives in their little hillside village. People in remote areas were given more opportunities by TikTok, which was one of the main factors contributing to the app's success. Many of them rose to fame as a result of their immense popularity. Prasanto Roy is a technical writer based in New Delhi. He said that people were seeing what they truly wanted to see for the first time. Under normal circumstances, we witness people from rural origins becoming famous and earning money via apps. People who would never have imagined doing either. When it comes to hyperlocal videos, there was nothing like TikTok. In the US, where the app is essential to the livelihoods of innumerable small producers and businesses, TikTok has a comparable cultural significance. This is something you hardly ever see on other social media networks. On Instagram, for instance, accounts with a higher following receive greater promotion, but TikTok encourages users to post frequently. On Instagram, for instance, accounts with a higher following receive greater promotion, but TikTok encourages users to post frequently. In addition to TikTok, the Indian government banned 58 other Chinese apps at the same time. These days, some of these apps are becoming fairly well known in America. One such Chinese fashion app is Shein. Following TikTok, Shein was outlawed in India. However, an Indian version of Shein has just been released following fruitful talks. In America, a same situation might occur. The recent law's prohibition on TikTok creates a precedent that US authorities can use to impose similar restrictions on other Chinese apps. Politicians in the US have voiced privacy and national security concerns regarding TikTok, but these issues might also affect other businesses. Other apps attempt to take the place of a well-known app when it is banned. Nikhil Pahwa is an expert in technology policy and the founder of the news website Medianima. He claims that other Indian firms began attempting to take TikTok's position as soon as it was prohibited. The Indian technology press has been publishing stories about these new social media firms, Chingari, Moj and TikTok, on a regular basis for months. Although there was some initial success for some of them, the competition to replace TikTok was short-lived. Instagram introduced Reels, a feed of brief videos, in August 2020. On its Shorts platform, YouTube also created little videos in the Tik style. New startups had little chance in the field after YouTube and Instagram entered it. The Internet Freedom Foundation's executive director is Pratik Wagar. He claims that while competing applications gained popularity following TikTok's suspension, the majority of them eventually failed. In the end, Instagram probably benefited the most. In no time, most Indian TikTokers and their fans migrated to Meta and Google's apps, and many of them found success there as well. Geet is also a TikToker who became famous by teaching people American English and giving life advice to people on TikTok. When TikTok was banned, he had more than 1 crore followers on his 3 accounts. In an interview given to the BBC in the year 2020, Geet expressed concerns about his future. It's been 4 years, and today he has close to 5 million followers on Instagram and YouTube. However, users and experts the BBC spoke to say that while Instagram and YouTube have succeeded in capturing TikTok's traffic, they have failed to create the magic that TikTok created. According to Pahwa, the makers on TikTok were not at all like those on YouTube or Instagram. People from rural villages, farmers, and brick kiln workers were posting films on TikTok. These creators aren't what you see on Instagram Reels and YouTube videos. The US social media scene might resemble India's if TikTok is outlawed there. YouTube and Instagram are already well known as venues for brief videos. LinkedIn is now testing out a video feed akin to TikTok. Rivals of TikTok have shown they don't have to be similar to be successful. Like in India, it's highly likely that hyper-local content in the US will eventually disappear. On the other hand, America would experience a significantly bigger cultural effect than India. Almost 1/3 of Americans between the ages of 18 and 29 use TikTok to get news, according to the Pew Research Center. There are less TikTok users in the US, 170 million, than there are in India, 200 million. However, there are just 1.4 people in India compared to over 330 million people in America, over half of whom use TikTok. When TikTok was banned in India, the app was not what it is now, Tyagi asserts. I think banning it in the US would have a huge impact. However, TikTok has already said that it will file a lawsuit in opposition to this US government action. TikTok had the option to follow the law in India as well, but it chose not to. Within a few weeks, the ban was likewise promptly imposed in India. However, the US court may take years to rule on TikTok's case, and there is no assurance that the US court will enforce the legislation. The US government's decision to outlaw TikTok has sparked the possibility of a trade war between the US and China. Pahwa claims that China may also apply similar penalties to US businesses. China denounced India for removing TikTok from its country, but there was no apparent reaction. Perhaps America won't be that fortunate. China's response to India's TikTok ban has multiple explanations. It is a known truth that China does not have an Indian tech sector. However, there are many chances for reprisal in the IT sector of America. China has already started attempting to substitute domestic technology for American technology. TikTok's ban could hasten this process. Tyagi was just using TikTok to market her works. Therefore, the ban had no effect on her income. She was shocked to see that her account was still active when she traveled to America. It was as though she had traveled back in time. He uploaded a few movies as well. But it's possible that the majority of his Indian fans haven't watched the video. However, he didn't get much support from the Indian population living abroad. According to Tyagi, millions of Indian TikTok accounts still exist. The fact that TikTok has retained these accounts up to this point is unexpected. Perhaps they are hoping that India would lift the TikTok prohibition.